Good evening. A very warm welcome to one and all. On behalf of Team Collins, I would like to invite each and every one of you to the webinar on English through Art for Preparatory Stage by Ms Ruchi Sengar. So, slight brief introduction about ma'am. Ma'am has more than 26 years of teaching experience, and she is the subject matter expert and master trainer for CBSE and NCERT, and she is also a material developer for CBSE. She is skilled at item writing and developed various training modules for English, question banks, and sample question papers for 10th and 12th. And she has created a lot of materials and items for critical and creative thinking for Diksha app and podcast for Shiksha Vahini. She's also authored and prepared teacher training materials for various ELT books for different publishing houses. And she's also a communication module developer and trainer for Trinity College, London. She is a certified storyteller from Kathalaya, Bangalore. And she's also involved in the diploma thesis for storytelling, have been an examiner for IELTS, awarded by World Kids Foundation for Holistic Teaching. So we have a very good session, and I would say rather it's going to be a very interesting session on art integrated learning. And I'm sure you will love the session. Ma'am, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be a part of this session. Welcome to the session, and all the stage is yours, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Venkat. God bless you. Hello, everybody. A good afternoon, good evening. I hope everybody's safe, well. Those are the prayers and best wishes for all who are attending. Please spread the goodness. So today's session is English through Art for the preparatory stage. Art has become quite the buzzword among academicians and educationists and such. So we are going to try and sort of simplify it for all of you today. I hope we are successful. Feel free to put in questions. We have Collins experts and executives who are going to sort of, bridge the gap between you and I across the screen, and we will attempt to ensure that your doubts are clarified, right? It would be nice if we keep them contextual so that everybody gets a chance to have their doubts answered. All right. My name is Ruchi Sengar. You could see the email ID there. Thank you very much, Collins. It's a matter of pride and privilege to be here doing this for you. Okay. What I really love about them is inspiring learners today. That's quite something. That's very close to my heart as well. Okay. Before we begin, as is the norm, let's talk about the session outline. The session outline is what we'll be doing today. So we will begin with the why, okay? So why does NEP mandate the integration of art, okay? Why does the NEP mandate the integration of art? What's so special? Who are the people involved and what are their roles? I mean, is it just the teachers? Is it the art teachers? Is it about the subject? Is it the school? Would it be the students? So we'll talk about that as well. What is the difference between AE and parts of AIL? So I'll go on to explain. Don't worry if you're not getting the abbreviations currently, we'll do that, all right? Not just that, we'll be talking about the how. How can we apply this in our classroom? Because a general theory is something which you perhaps already know. We are going to attempt to show you how you could do it in the classroom, okay? On a very basic level, we only have that much time. We will go into details in further sessions, yeah? How can we assess this work? Okay, because it's very important. A lot of teachers have doubts about what is it that they can do to assess or grade or observe. What is it that they can do? And how can we understand the Kala Setu better? This is specific to the CBSE schools, and I'm sure many of you already have had this experience for the previous academic session. On that note, my favorite, let's begin with getting you onto your browsers, I would like for you to go to www.menti.com. Just type that in. And the moment you do that, you would see this code. Okay, just do that and I'll showcase a little bit of fun activity for you. It will also help me and you both understand what we are going to sort of deal with, and it'll give us a takeoff platform. So I'm giving you, say, maybe about another 10 seconds to do this. Yeah, so that's great. Let's do that. Let me showcase this for you. That's your first question. Looking forward to your answers the moment you do that. www.menti.com, and this is the code. Just type that code. You will see this question. So let's see who's going to start giving us the answers. I don't see any answers yet. So I'm going to wait another 10 seconds. If we don't get the answers just now, we will do this a bit later into the sessions then. Oh, we already have one answer. Wonderful. Why do we need art for the learning process of English in the classroom? So the answer is creativity, imagination. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. There is one word that is really, really coming to fore. Wonderful. Excellent. Creative, creativity, fun, interesting. Excellent. To develop aesthetic sense. It's interesting, it's fun, beautiful, fun. So the bigger the word, that many times it has been used. So what I really like is fun, imagination, creativity, interesting, beautiful answers. Wonderful. Excellent. So I'm sure if everybody is looking at the screen, they can see the number of answers. Critical thinking, excellent. I'm happy somebody mentioned the thinking part, expression, better understanding, holistic learning, yes. All right. Enhanced learning, beautiful. All right. Thank you. Let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one. Keep logged in. Let's have a look at the next one. Yeah, I'd like you to, how often are these forms of art used by the teachers of English? How often are they used by the teachers of English? So you could scroll and show me a kind of a percentage. Supposing this is 0 on one side and this is the very top. So where do you think? How often do teachers of English use these art items? Textiles and decoration items, posters, advertisements, puppets, toys, board games. Oh, okay. Posters are used. Yes, very good. Coloring and craft. Very nice. Coloring and craft. Very good. A lot of people feel. Okay. So currently the maximum uses of coloring, craft, music, dance. Excellent. Books and magazines. Very good. Logos. Excellent. Very good. Beautiful, beautiful. So we are going to wait another 10 seconds to see what people think. So a lot of people say that they use coloring, craft, role play, music, dance. It's quite popular, isn't it? But the reason I gave you all these choices is also to tell you that decoration pieces which we have at home, textiles, our saris, our dupattas, okay, kurtas, even a pair of jeans, product labels, logos, etc. Even this is art. Indigenous toys, my favorites are the Channapatna toys, okay, puppets, I'm sure at the prep stage, a lot of teachers might be using puppets. Beautiful, very nice. And one last slide for you. Thank you very much for participating. Very good. So just type in one question that you want to ask me about this topic. Anything that you'd like to know. Just type that question, it will start showing. Don't worry, nobody's names pop up. So great, looking forward to your questions. Anything that you feel you need clarifications on, we'll do those towards the end, but it'll give me an idea of what you're thinking or any doubts that you might have. Any one question about the topic. Oh, I'm so glad nobody has any doubts yet. Wonderful. Okay. So
I think they're just typing in their answers.
oh, they are. Okay. So if you could note down some, want some more ideas to use art in English? Yes, I will address that. Definitely, definitely. Any other question?
You got 4 questions, so I think.
Yes, how can we introduce art in senior classes? Well, there are many ways, but today it's about the preparatory stage. The senior class webinars and workshops will be done later. However, this session might give you a fair idea of how to proceed, right? Why is art important to teach in any subject? 100% will talk about it, okay? How do we incorporate art if we are not very artistic? Excellent. Okay, I'll show you how. Please don't worry. If I can do it, I think any teacher in the world can do it, okay? Because I'm all thumbs, all right? Beautiful. Why integrate art? How to integrate art with grammar? Shrikant, could you please make note of this particular question? Integrating art with grammar, I'd like to take it towards the end, please. Yeah. And yeah, so some more ideas, 100%. Yes, syllabus completion is very important. I'll show you how you can use art to complete your syllabus. Okay, don't worry. All right. And vocabulary and grammar, 100%, we are going to address this. Will this include pre-primary classes too? Well, the circular says classes 1 to 10 for the projects and 1 to 12 for art integrated learning. But hey, pre-primary classes are all about art anyway, aren't they? So I think pre-primary Montessori school teachers are the best examples of integration of art. Even though they don't really subscribe to the labels, they are doing it day in, day out. So I think I'll stop here for the time being. Maybe one more. Will this be useful? Oh, yes, yes, it will be useful with students with the learning disabilities, 100%. In fact, it will encourage them to participate more. Inclusion is at the very core of art integration. Yeah, I'll point you towards the handbook, which explains how through the session. Okay, yeah, and yes, we'll be talking about all of this, 100%. Let's switch this off now, and let's get back to the session. All right, so the first question that we would be discussing right now is the why, all right? So why art integration? A lot of you asked that. So these are the reasons. So the first thing about art integration would be it helps visualization. I'm sure that's there's no rocket science in understanding that. If the child sees something, connects with something, it helps the child sort of visualize it. It's better than just reading the words, okay? It connects with the world outside. So it doesn't just limit the child to the textbook or the curriculum that the child is being made to do in the classroom. It's a shift from rote methods. This is one of the strongest reasons why a lot of teachers have voted in favor of art integration. It might surprise you to know that a lot of you are perhaps already doing it. Okay, now we have a name for it. It's not just there in the NEP 2020, it has been there even in the NCF 2005. So you've been doing it. Now we have names for things that you're doing. So please don't get stressed or worried about it. You know it all, you're the bosses, okay? So to cut the monotony, you can't go to the class anyway. If you're a good teacher, if you're a conscientious teacher, you will not walk into a class and say, okay, open to page so-and-so. No, there are things you do. You might show a PPT, and I'm not just talking about the last year or current times. Things are going to get better. They have been better earlier. So you can't just walk into the class and lecture, right? Right? So it's a movement away from rote methods. If you're going to show them something, get them to talk, get them to experience, to touch, to do, yes, So it's a shift from that. It inculcates respect for culture and heritage. And why just culture and heritage of our country? Anywhere in the world. Okay, you ought to respect culture and heritage anywhere. It develops art-based inquiry. You know, all these things were what you answered in the very first slide when we did the Menti, right? Art-based inquiry. When they look at it, they'll wonder, ooh, it depends on the teacher, really. So it wonder, you could ask simple questions. Somebody said, how can I do this if I'm not artistic? You could, if the painting is in yellow or if the toy is painted yellow, you would say, why do you think the artist did not paint it green? What would have been the impact? Get them to think, to visualize, inquire, you know? So you could do those kind of things as well. Multidisciplinary links, yes, you could, if you have a painting of a harvest season or a rainy season, or you could have somebody showing autumn, etc. Just giving you an example, or a drawing or a sketch that perhaps another class student made, you could show that and then link it up to your EVS as well. Okay, and your masters, you know where the links can be created. Yeah. It helps achieve objectives. Somebody mentioned completion of syllabus. So the CBSE, NCERT, or whichever educational board that you are linked with, they have standards listed. They have your learning objectives listed. So when you're doing art connected to your syllabus, please ensure that you are doing art to fulfill a learning objective. That way your syllabus also proceeds. I will explain in detail as we move along. Yeah. And it makes learning joyful. This is one of my very, very favorites. So you will see once I take you through the session how this is possible. Okay. So now that was the why. Any questions thus far? Any one or two questions that I can take right now and then address the others later?
I'm just waiting for questions, but on Zoom, not really.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you could let me know if there is.
Yeah, we can park certain questions. Yes, yeah. Sure.
Okay. Now we come to English. Okay. So when we say English, what is the first thing that crosses a teacher of English's mind? Okay. LSRW. LSRW. Okay. You have your listening, you have your speaking, you have your reading and your writing. And, you know, let me just begin very quickly by showing you how I would use art to get into teaching of LSRW. Now, for example, listening. Now, I want to ensure that my child picks up the skill of listening for specific information or listening for detail, either which way. So now that is my learning objective, isn't it? It's listed for me. So I would say, I would like to use Rangoli as the art form. And what would I do? I would say you will listen to a boy giving instructions to create a Rangoli. As you listen, join the dots. Some have been done for you. So the child is listening for what? Is listening for specific information, is listening for the kind of numbers that you would speak so that the child can draw the straight lines through it. So listening for specific information. And then finally, when the child does it, this is what it is. Okay. So that's a very simple way, and it's a 5-minute thing. And after that, if you want to do, this is just an example. It could be joining the dots. Supposing you have a lesson maybe in class 2 or a class 3 about a snake or a rabbit or a frog. You could have joining the dots, you know, to create something, and they could just have fun. They don't realize that they are picking up the listening skill. Okay, so you've used it for listening. Let's see how you can use it for speaking. You could use any particular art. These are just examples. There is zillions out there. We will keep doing it. So don't worry, right? So I've taken a sample of Gond art. What do you think this can be used for? What kind of speaking? If you showcase this in your classroom, what are the things that you could do with your children for speaking? What can you ask them to talk about? Any ideas? Anyone?
Yeah, I'm just looking for certain teachers to type in their answers in case there is okay, description. Swapna ma'am says description, then Chitra ma'am says sounds of animals.
Very good.
Well, Any more answers? Yes, colors is what Irene ma'am says.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So when you would ask them to speak
about ancient art is an answer from Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how a class 3, 4, 5 child might respond to ancient art. But yeah, I mean, why not? They might just comment on the colors of the animals, very rightly said.
Archana ma'am says patterns, and there is a question for you, ma'am.
Yeah.
If you might. Malima asks, what is the speciality of this painting?
Is that for me, or would you like to ask that to the students? You know,
I think perhaps they would like to ask that to the students.
Yes, yes. So they would ask, what is special about it? Yes. What are the colors you see? Is there some kind of a pattern? Are their necks all in the same way? Are they from the same family? You could ask these kind of questions 100%. Okay. Do they look like they're going to attack? Do they look relaxed? So many things. But when we are doing speaking skills, remember what I told you when you asked, ma'am, how do we ensure completion of our syllabus? So if you look at the LOs that are given for speaking, one thing that comes for preparatory stages, 100% is description. How would you describe? So you could get them in pairs and get them to describe, or you could get them to compare and contrast. Okay, and never do speaking without giving support. So for prep stage, you can choose the kind of words that you want to put across. I've just listed all of them. But when you're at the prep stage, you could choose 2 for contrast, 2 for compare, and another 2 for contrast. And you could say, okay, use these words and tell me what is the difference, what is the similarity. So just saying that even in speaking, you could use art, okay? Then we come to reading. First of all your stories and your poems, everything is art in itself. However, when we are talking about general reading, we could use things like vintage advertisements. I'm just saying, move away from the stereotyped stuff that we are using in the classroom. It's not always paper folding. It's not always coloring. There are several things which you need to expose the child to get the child to connect to the real world and think. Okay, so this is vintage advertisements, maybe for a class 4-5 student, if you want to go to 3-4, and then for the junior ones where they are just about, knowing certain words. And then perhaps if you want to bring in a Cadbury's product to classroom and show them that, they would recognize, even though they cannot read, they'll know it's a Cadbury's, right? So you could ask about the color, you could tell them the milk, you could connect it up with nutrition. There's so many things you could do. You could change this by going to paint and make it more of grams if you want. Eat more milk. Ask them, why are they saying eat more milk? So it's up to you. You're the creative person, right? You're the teacher of English. You teach from life. You're not subjected and limited just to the books, okay? Yeah, and then we come to writing. So how do we do it in writing? I would say I would take this. Remember, these are just examples. You can do anything for any skill, okay? Animation video or a cartoon. I've taken this. These are snips from Bean's video, okay? And what would I do for writing? I would say description of an experience for classes 4 and 5. What did Bean experience? If you want a dialogue, or do you want like a sequencing for a junior class? It's a diary entry. If you want to do grammar, you could do a past tense. What did Bean do the first day of the week? Okay, and you get them to speak or you get them to write. They will automatically use the same tense. Okay, you can give them help words like a cake or bake. Okay, and they could use that and create that for you. All right, yeah. Now that we've finished with some exemplars, okay, who and what is what we are going to talk about now. This is important, all right? So we are talking about art integration in education. Now, there are 2 parts to it. The first one is art education. The second one is art integrated learning. AE and AIL. AE and AIL. And it's important that we know the difference. Okay, otherwise we are all over the place and we overlap things and we are confused and we feel that there is so much we have to do and we get stressed. And teachers of English getting stressed doesn't work. Okay, all right, we are the happy ones. All right, so let's begin with art education. All right, yeah. So what is art education really? Art education, known as AE, is all about the art teacher and the students. Those beautiful, beautiful, creative souls that are there with us in our schools. Art teachers, okay? Now the art teachers are at the very center of the education system. Okay, earlier they were peripheral, now they are at the very center. All the subjects revolve around the art and art teachers. So I think it's a good idea to be friends with them. All right. So now art teachers and students. And what do I mean by that? What is AE? You have your music, you have your art, you have drama, you have craft, you have dance, and even cooking. Okay, for junior kids, even if you have your without fire, food without fire, etc. kind of activities. Yeah, so all that. Yes. How do we put up AE on the Kala Setu? You have this. So it's just to prove to you that it is all about the art teachers. So AE is something you should not stress about. The art teachers have their curriculum. It's documented from classes 1 to 5 and 1 to 10. All right. And they will do the needful. So the Kala Setu asks for their details and they upload their details, etc. Now we move on to the second part. What is the second part? Art integration in education. Art education we've already done. Now we come to art integrated learning. And the first thing in art integrated learning is going to be art integrated activities. This is something which you are so good with. So good with. You do it almost for every topic that is presented towards you, right? So here we go. What is art integrated activities? When the art teacher and the subject teachers get together with the students, that's what results in art integrated activities. Okay, so art integrated activities are right here. What do I mean by this? The art teacher of a class 3 would be teaching them paper folding, would be teaching them vegetable printing, would be teaching them jewelry making or clay modeling or something. So when you go to class and you teach them a particular topic, say maybe the monkey and the crocodile, for example, just for the want of a better example, and suddenly you tell them, okay, I've been told that you have been learning clay modeling. So how about you get into groups of 5 and use the clay and create the monkey and the crocodile story for me. Say, supposing this is class 4 or class 5 or even a class 3. So you have the whole group creating a particular scene, any particular scene. So what has happened? You've combined with what the art teacher has done. So the children, even in the art class, would be doing your work, wouldn't they? And they would have learned that skill anyway. So once you're finished with your story, you tell them, okay, now this is what I want you to do, or this is what I want you to color, or this is what I want you to draw, or paper mache, or there's so many things. So therefore, that is why it is said, plan in the beginning of the art session with your art teachers. It could be drama, it could be music, it could be dance, any kind of art that you want to include. So whatever you do after you have finished teaching a poem or a chapter or any particular topic for writing, speaking, etc., when you get them to do an activity after that, it's called an art integrated activity. Why? Because you're integrating art. All right. So the Kala Setu, based on the annexure 2 of the circular 33, everybody knows this. This is what it looks like. All these things, see, it's listed here. That's your annexure 2. It's listed here. All these, you have a choice what kind of art you can use. These are just examples. They could be other things that you want to use. Okay, for example, keep reading the left portion. Okay, yeah. You have sketching from nature, collage making, you have stage props, you have designing the school magazine covers, etc., cards, construction of puppets. Look at all of these. Planning, organizing festivities, even a class assembly, if they're doing something artistic, connected to whatever you've taught them, you know, creation of a scrapbook, chart tabulation, identification, even a quiz on that particular art form, okay, short notes on anything, creation of a scrapbook, I think that's a repeat, exercises in characterization. How did the monkey behave? Do a role play show. How did the crocodile react? What is the conversation between the crocodile and his wife? Could you show that? So you're training them. Stagecraft. Where do you think the monkey would be sitting? Where? So if you had to do this on stage, how would you do it? It's entirely up to you. All these are activities. Okay. Let me show you some from the NCERT of class 3. It's there in the book. It's all there. So what you need to know is these are art integrated activities. Okay. So you have this from the book over there. And then even this, see, it says here, let's act. So I'm going home in a bus. There is a railway line across the road, alongside the road. Look, there's a train coming. I tell the bus driver, go fast. Whichever book you have, I'm just showcasing from the NCERT, whichever book you have, it is bound to have some beautiful art integrated activities. So the very fact that you're doing them is enough for you to showcase in your lesson plan. So you don't have to worry, okay? Collins' book, New Exploring English, I was going through that and I saw, they have this special segment called AA, art activity. And they see, recite a poem. So this is not a part of the unit. It's after that on the same theme. So the child could sing, you could have a choral singing happening, happy, happy, happy. Everybody is happy. So after the lesson has been done, yeah. Now we've done art integrated activities in AIL. Now there's another part to it, which is called art integrated pedagogy. Art integrated activities, when you've done the lesson and you want to give a nice fun activity, which the child will enjoy using art. Now art integrated pedagogy is truly what AIL is called. Okay, because this is the onus of the subject teacher. We need to remember this. Do not confuse art integrated learning or pedagogy with art integrated activities. You can use these activities to do this. But just doing these activities, oh, we've taught a chapter, now we've asked them to do something, finished, we've done our AIL. No, AIL, the learning. AIL is done during the teaching of a concept. During the teaching, not after it is over. So the art integration for this is done by the teacher. In art integrated activities, it is done by the students. They make. But in this, which is really, really important, and this is what is compulsory from classes 1 to 12. Okay, so the pedagogy is art integrated. Let me explain. So what does the circular say? Okay, art integrated learning as a pedagogical tool from classes 1 to 12. I'm not saying it, your education board is saying it, yeah. It says these are the points you need to remember. Somebody mentioned I'm not artistic. So you're just using art as a tool. Whatever art is available, whatever you want, I will give you some examples, okay? Focus should be to accept arts as a medium of the learning process, not after the learning is done. Not after the learning is done. Don't just keep giving homework and tasks to the children. No, 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 no. This comes as a part of your planning as a subject teacher. How are you using art? And don't think or feel stressed that, oh, you have so many chapters. How can you use art? How will I complete the syllabus? No, it's not required. Even if you do it for 3 units in the whole book, it's fine. You have other pedagogical tools to do for other topics. You cannot force art onto a particular topic or a theme. It has to lend itself naturally to it. Don't force art there, okay? Yeah. Subject teacher has to use simple art forms in the classroom. Subject teacher gives opportunities to students to enjoy planned art activities. When you're doing AIL for pedagogy, you cannot walk into the classroom and say, what should I do? Let me pick up this leaf and use this. No, you'll have to plan, which is why educational boards ask for pedagogical plans. Are you ready to deliver this in the classroom? So 2, 3, 4, maximum 3, 4 units from your textbook, you can choose any, and they don't have to be the lessons. It could very well be a writing topic. It could be a listening topic. It could be a reading topic, anything. Grammar, vocab, I'll address that towards the end, okay? So while teaching is the key word. It has to be done while teaching, while, not after you have finished, okay? Yeah. And you have to give these opportunities to the children. Observe, imagine, explore, create. I'll give you an acronym for it. Don't worry. Yeah. Now you have this very beautiful book. All you have to do is type Art Integration CBSE. You will come across this manual. This is what it has. Even the circular says. Now look at the kind of tools you can use for the pedagogy. You can show them a video to teach a particular topic. You can make them do role play during the learning process, not after. So first, you are also an active part of this. Okay, don't confuse it with art activities. That's very different. Okay, you could have paper quilling, paper mache, jewelry making. A lot of teachers say, ma'am, how as English teachers are we going to do jewelry making? Huh? So don't worry. I mean, this whole list is not just for teachers of English. Maybe a history teacher wants to use it. Maybe a math teacher wants to use it. Make me 2 beads here and 3 beads here, or 4 color of this color, that color. Maybe they are going to use it. You can use other things: role play, video, photography, slideshows, PPTs, sketching, clay modeling, dance for English. Okay, the bhavs, the mudras. You could do so many things. Okay, yeah. I'll show you the examples. Please don't worry. So the Kala Setu, this is the part 4, where can you see all this? It's the same thing as what I just showed you. All right. You just have to remember that there is an option that says any other. So if you've come up with something different, which you've done, perhaps I take this bottle to class and I use this as an art form. Maybe I will integrate it with math and do the shape, and I will integrate it with English and EVS and do the colors. And I would say, okay, where was I born? Make the child speak. Okay, what are my experiences? What do I think of myself? Do I enjoy being with this cup? You could do anything. So you're using props. That's art. Okay, yeah. Let me show you an example of what I mean by pedagogy. Okay, look at this. This is the NCERT class 4. It's called Neha's alarm clock. Now, if I as a teacher want to use art as a pedagogy, what will I do? These are pictures that are there in the textbook only. So what would I do? I would showcase these pictures and say, oh, what do you think is, remember observing, imagining. Okay, so I would get them to talk about it. So I'm using art. What am I doing? I'm using pictures. Okay, and then I'm showing them this, and what am I saying? What do you think is happening here? If you were the alarm clock, are you happy? Is this person lying down? Is she happy? What do you think is the conversation? What is the alarm clock saying to her? Her name is Neha, right? We can see it here. Okay, what has happened, you think, that they have both become friends? Over here, she's not, so you could build. So by the time you're done and you put in some points on the board and you get them to read, they would already have a layer of ideas. So you've got them to experience it so that when they read, they would already have some kind of idea, because your questions are going to match with whatever has happened in the lesson. You know your learning objective, yet you've integrated art as a pedagogy in the beginning. You could even do it for this particular lesson from one of Colin's books. I think it says, worm looks for lunch, where there is a worm. I think this is class 2. There's a rabbit. Okay, puppets. Just walk into the class with a puppet of a worm and a puppet of different animals, because apparently the worm meets several animals. What is the conversation? What is happening? They haven't opened up their textbook. You are just beginning with something like that, right? Okay, yeah. Now, how do we do it? Okay, how do we do it? So I would say that this particular book by the CBSE says there are 2 ways in which this pedagogical art integrated learning as a pedagogical tool can be done. Ice-breaking activity to introduce a topic. That is the best way to use art as a teacher for AIL. Okay, you just walk into the class, you use some kind of art. I gave you some examples just now. Okay, you go there, you do it. Pick any 3 chapters in which you feel, yes, I think this will work very well over here. I can also do it. I don't have to be very artistic. I can manage this. Even PPT, showing a video, puppets that you can take from the art room, okay, a painting, a drawing, etc. All those things, role play, singing, making them listen to a song, taking a musical instrument, all that is art. If the chapter is about food in English, carry something with you. Begin with something like that. So please don't worry. Everything around you is art. All right? Yes. So introduce a topic is the best way to do AIL pedagogy. And the other part is the project, which we will talk about. All right. Now, let me read this for you. Oh, darling, carry the 8 extra red earrings inside. Why did I say this? Now, everybody, you have to say it aloud. Oh, darling, carry the 8 extra red earrings inside. This is the core principle of AIL as a pedagogy, which the teacher has to do for 2 or 3 chapters or skills or topics. Okay, what does it mean? You could make the child observe, deduce, create, think, explore, experiment, recreate, express, or imagine. If you can pick any 3-4 of these things, you have achieved your goal for art integrated learning. So if I've taken a puppet, which of these do I want them to do? If I've taken a painting, which of these things am I addressing? Because then you can write that in your lesson plan. Okay, yes. There are details to this which we will do some other time. For example, look at this. Supposing there's a speaking skills task. Most textbooks have it. Okay, this is an example. It's about cutting hair, and somebody's gone to the barber or the salon or the hairstylist. Okay, and they're talking about cutting hair. Now, before doing this, I want the children to naturally activate their thinking and their schema. So I would probably show them a particular video. They will enjoy it. Showing a video is art. Okay, it's called Horrid Henry Haircut. It's all there. You just have to plan, what will I use? Okay, it's on YouTube. I'll just show it, ask them some questions, get them to imagine, get them to do a little bit of role play, and then do the speaking. Finished. It's a part of my syllabus. Okay, they will enjoy it more. All right. If you feel that no, not every school can have facilities that can showcase a video, no worries. Currently, you can do it across a screen. Otherwise, please take some snapshots, show them, paste them on the blackboard. Show it to them and ensure that you laminate those pictures so that you can show it in another class as well. Simple. Where there's a will, there's a way. Okay. Yeah. Supposing it is this, it says dragon, and the boy, if I met a dragon face to face, for me, I would go to class using the Channa Patna toys. Imagine, there's actually a dragon toy, our indigenous toys, our own. Okay, and I would take them to the classroom and put them there, or call two children, give one to the one child and one to the other, and say, what kind of conversation do you think they're traveling? What kind of travels do you think the dragon has had? As the dragon, could you speak? That is precisely what is happening here. Once you've made them have a bit of fun here, then when they do this, they would sort of understand it better. That's the idea of AIL. Okay, yeah. Then you have this very beautiful book by the NCERT. Okay, there's a model lesson plan here. Let me just showcase this thing. I'll just put this in the chat box, or maybe we could sort of, have it showcased later. Don't worry. It's on page 51. Get your hands on this book. It's called Art Integrated Learning, NCERT. So just write guidelines, Art Integrated Learning, NCERT. Simple. You could download the PDF. It's all there. Go to page 51. It has an English lesson plan. So that would give you a very, very good idea of what kind of a lesson plan. Details of Art Integrated lesson plans we'll do some other time. Now we come to the last part, which is the Art Integrated project. Okay, very simple. Everybody knows by now it should be transdisciplinary according to the CBSE. Okay, the other boards might have different menus, but according to the CBSE, they say it should be transdisciplinary. In any case, art integrated projects for the prep stage are better done transdisciplinary. You don't want to burden the child with a project for every subject. Huh? So you break the barriers, you go across subjects. Okay, students will take up integration with any form of Indian art. Okay. Teachers need to facilitate the learning, okay? One project. Now, supposing you decide as teachers of English that my project will work very well with EVS, the math, the second language and some other subject can do it together, but I'm doing it with EVS. So if EVS and English are doing one project and math and the second language are doing another project, you have two projects. Both are using art. But in one of the projects, minimum one of the projects, you have to use the paired state art like we were doing last year, 122 session. Please remember that. Okay. Yeah. So what are the points that you need to consider? A project doesn't mean, oh, you have summer vacations, give them something to do. That's not a project. It could be a part of that project. Okay, or you have a weekend, let me give them a project. No, that's not a project. I will prove why not. Okay, so planning is very important. Okay, it should not be too much pro art. It should be more about your subject, and art should be integrated. One part of the project should be about art. It should be simple for the subject teacher to take forward. The focus, you need to help the children research. Don't say that my child is in class 3, how will the child research? Oh, they will do it beautifully. It depends on what you've created. I'll show you a sample. Resources need to be easily available. We don't want parents sitting and doing it, please. Okay. Never done alone. It's done in groups of 4 to 5. All right. Rubrics are very important at every stage. How will you assess the project? You can't say, oh, yeah, it looks good, it's nice and colorful, let me give you 10 on 10. It defeats the purpose. The project also ensures that whatever topics you're handling in the project, it's a part of your syllabus only. You have finished those things. You needn't revisit those, okay? So please inform the students of the criteria. Okay, I'm going to talk about the group work. I'm going to talk about your punctuality. Then your marks are going to go down, or your grade is going to probably go down, or you will not get a smiley face. Okay, and you can consider it for internal assessment, right? So we need to remember these. Look at one such example. So many things. So this could be one part of the project. You know why I'm saying one part? I'm saying one part because when you look at the Kala Setu, look at what they've asked. Is your project less than 1 month? 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. That means one project can carry on for 2-3 months. What is the rush? Give it to them in stages, no? When the first stage of the project is over, then say, okay, now that you have this, let's move on to the next stage. Use this information to do this. Then you give them another 2-3 weeks. Then say, okay, now you've done this. Now, and you can incorporate L, S, R, W, everything. You could include letter writing. You could include description of a paragraph description. You could include all those kind of things. All right. And then you could sort of, have rubrics for each stage. For example, let me show you. Look at this. One sample of the rubric follows project directions. These are the indicators. Follows project directions, use of creativity, behavior in the class, effort put into the project, and such. Okay. And now, when you're giving them grades or marks, you're very clear why you're giving them. And when they ask you, you would say, beta, you've got 4 because you followed all directions. You've got 4 because you used your own ideas. You didn't just borrow them, and so on. Okay. There is no 0 ever. Please remember that. Okay. The other indicators could be the following: planning, process, or you choose. All these are available online. Otherwise, create your own. We will have a separate session for creating rubrics. Don't worry about that. Okay. Or you could have these assessment, presentation skills. Okay. Now you've done a project. How are you going to present it? Okay. Task completion. Has the group completed the task? Okay, completely, minimally, 50-50, you could have these: regularity, punctuality, creativity. Did they ask questions? Choose what you want. Pick any 4 or 5. And after each week or after every 2 weeks, assess whatever work they've done. All right. Some do's and don'ts, and then we'll call it a day. We'll move on to questions. The do's are very clear over here. Let me just remind you that you're not supposed to, in a project, comment on the artistic quality. It is about the process, not the product. You are not asking them to make an art product. You are ensuring that they pick up a lot of life skills in the process of doing that project. Okay? And please do not compare the artwork of students. You are only comparing the child's work with the child's previous work. That's really, really important. All right. Yeah. Very quickly. This is the difference between art education, art integrated activities. So there's a whole lot of music, and then there is invitation cards, file covers, this, that, etc. Everything. So that's art integrated activity. What is art integrated learning? Remember pedagogy. Now, supposing the unit is titled Vegetable City, supposing, okay? And look at what the teacher goes to, before beginning the chapter, before beginning the story, she goes and she does this. Look at all of this. This is observation, thinking, deducing. Remember, oh darling, carry the 8 earrings, red earrings. Okay. So this is what it is. You don't have to worry. I'm sure you can read what it is. How is this different from a project? It's different from a project because the project would look something like this. It's basically LSRW, and one part of the project has some form of art in it. The whole project is not about art. It's about English. But one aspect of it, a story, using any art form of Sikkim, because I'm currently doing this from Delhi, so Delhi has been paired with Sikkim. So one aspect of my project would say, okay, use this art form to do this. You're not supposed to completely research an art form as a project. It's basically your subject's project. Okay. Yeah. So these are my sources that I used. And now it's that very beautiful time for questions. All right. Okay. Before I knock off, I think it's time to show you. Yes, this is what I meant by the manual, page 51. It has a lesson plan. Here it is. So all you have to do is NCERT Handbook Art Integration, and you'll get to see this is for English. Okay. So it carries on. It has everything for all subjects. So please don't worry. Yeah. I guess I can stop sharing. Shrikant, it's okay if I stop sharing the screen? I think, yeah. All right then. Yes. Open for questions. Shrikant, my dear, you're on mute, so I can't really hear you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've just unmuted myself. So the first question from some of the teachers here is from the pre-primary and from classes 1 and 2 teachers. They're asking if whatever you've discussed this evening, can they also, as teachers, use in their classes?
My darlings, you're already using it. Aren't you doing art integrated activities? Pre-primary teachers stay back after school hours. From all my experience, they are cutting, they are creating, they are pasting on the walls, they are getting children to make, use those very things. So that's art integrated activity. And the moment you start using those particular art forms to tell a story or to complete a particular concept, you're doing AIL. And when you sort of get them to do small little things, talk to your grandparents, ask your grandparents this question, come back, prepare something for Grandparents' Day. That's a project. So sweethearts, you're already doing it. You're doing it and you must. Please, we have a lot to learn from all of you. We have a lot to learn.
Exactly. And next question is from Ms. Sanchita Basu on Facebook. She asked this while the webinar was happening. Her question is, good evening, ma'am, very informative session. How can I teach making simple sentences to students or children with Down syndrome?
Teaching simple sentences using art?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, sure. So showcase a puppet, showcase a painting, showcase a product label, and ask them to speak. Just ask them to speak. And the moment someone speaks a sentence that has a few keywords, put them on the blackboard and then complete it for them. Ask them to repeat it again. Simple. You're using art as a tool. So you're giving them a takeoff point. They'll be happy. They'll love it. Or make them listen to some music. Make them listen to a happy song. Hollywood, Bollywood, Tollywood, Mollywood, Pollywood. It doesn't matter. Just make them listen to something fun, something they are used to doing. Show them a sports person doing an advertisement. No worries. Whatever they see, just tell them, what do you think? What was happening? They will answer. The moment they answer, write those. Okay, dissection in terms of grammar is a different thing. But first, get that sentence out of them. So use any art form to elicit. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And the next question, I just wanted to take you back to the initial Mentimeter question, which you asked me to remind you. Yeah, should I? Yeah,
yes,
so this was about grammar. So how do we integrate art with grammar?
Yes. Okay. So very simple. Let me take the very happy prepositions, modals, etc. Okay. So supposing I have different art forms, like maybe I have toys. I would love to. I can see it in my mind's eye. I would do it with toys. Now I have a lot of indigenous toys that I have placed. Okay. I place them on my teacher's desk, etc. And then I start moving them. Okay, and then I say, okay, this particular, supposing it's a frog, supposing it's a man, supposing it's a farmer, trust me, you have brilliant indigenous toys. Just Google, order. You can even place them, place the orders on Amazon. Please get them for yourself, for your school, use them. And then on, near, beside, under, before, above, everything done, you could use art there. That's one topic of grammar. For modals, create a small story, 2-3 people, 3 farmers, It's important to sort of get them to know more about our villages and the people who are doing such good work, people who help us. You have a lot of things. So may I, could I, can I, all those things can be taught. For tenses, use a different art form. Use videos. Okay, what happened? What is happening? What will happen? You could do all of that. You just need to switch on the bulb here. Art forms are everywhere. Okay, same goes for vocabulary, topical vocabulary. Bring actual props from the kitchen. This is a wok, this is a ladle, this is a plate, this is a saucer, this is this. Talk about the materials, talk about the design, anything. Bring products, different cosmetic products, I mean shampoo, etc. I don't mean, okay, and ask them the shapes. Okay, this, which color? So you're using topical vocab. Okay, you could get them to talk about sensory words, this, everything through art.
That's great. The next, okay, this is from Padma ma'am, who says, your enthusiasm is infectious. I'm raring to go and incorporate everything in my English class. She's from AIRA Academy. The next question, however, is from Brinda ma'am, who asks, music is also an art, isn't it? Wish to hear from you the role of music in teaching, especially differently able children.
Yes. So the first thing I would say is that I think it reaches out to the children amazingly. The handbook that I talked about, the NCERT handbook, that has a complete segment on how to use art for students with the LD. So inclusion, like I said, is a very big part. And when you're talking about music, when you are talking about seasons or moods or colors, everything can be associated with music, whether it's instrumental or otherwise. They would respond beautifully to it. Just remember that the right kind of questions and the right kind of stimulus will lead them to understand the concept that you're going to talk about. I'm not a special educator yet. The only special education experience I have is through the years that I have taught. So I would not be bold enough to comment categorically on it. I can point you in the direction of the handbook, which has a complete segment that insists that art has had proven merits when it comes to concept teaching for students with LD.
I think we should take one last question. And this is from Ms. Kasturi Mitra Naik. She asks, what should be my rubric for judgment of a group project?
Well, I'm assuming that you mean how would you like to assess it? Yes. Yeah. So I would stray away from judging them, but I would love to assess them like you very much asked. So if it's a group project, so the first thing I would like to say is probably the one assessment indicator could be how are they working in a group? Collaboration skills. Okay, now it depends which class you're doing. Do you want to use the word collaborations, or do I listen to my group friends? You know, if you want the child also to understand what you're looking at. Okay, do I listen to my group friends? That's number one. Have I contributed? Okay, do I do my bit? Am I punctual in doing it? Do I submit things in time? You could give the subcategories. Okay, and then you could have how creative is it? How relevant is it? You know, choose. There is no one standard rubric. Okay, I showed you one. There are several others which you could create. However, please ensure that you have 4 or 5 rubrics for one project. So at different stages of the project. Okay.
Yes. Next question is, okay, this is from Ms. Kanchan Goyal. Let me tell you, you're getting a lot of, let's say, congratulations and also a lot of thank you messages. This is from Ms. Kanchan Goyal, who says, hats off to your zeal and enthusiasm, ma'am. We look forward to having more sessions from you in the future. Thank you so much, Kanchan ma'am, for that. I think, shall we take one last question with your permission? Done.
100%.
Okay, this is from Ms. Tanuja. She asks, which is the best art for tongue exercises of kids?
The best art, I would definitely go with sounds. You know, when you're asking them to mimic, and you're asking them, you need to get them to, I'm assuming we are talking phonics here. So probably the sounds, you know, that they make those sounds, they get into groups, they do that. I think that would work. That would work. That's a different session altogether, pardon me. But at best, I would say sounds. Okay, yeah, that would work. Claps, sounds, clicks, those kind of things. Yeah.
And Chitra ma'am just adds to it on Zoom here. She asks, how about tongue twisters? And a lot of
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Tongue twisters would be art. Now you could sing it, you could chant it. So you have jazz chants as well. So which involve a whole lot of repetitions, and tongue twisters, 100%. If you can do tongue twisters as teachers of English for your language in English, but in the interest of multilingualism, it's perfectly all right to do it even in the local language. At the end of the day, you're just exercising. Yeah.
Okay. And there's some teachers who are asking about classes, the higher classes, that's classes 9 and so on and so forth. So to all those teachers, please do attend the next session on the 19th, and you'll have all your answers, you know, addressed there. This session essentially was for the kids, for the teachers teaching classes, 1 to 5. So
Shrikant, if I may, the fundas are the same. The concepts are the same. The slides are the same. The examples would vary.
Exactly.
That's all. And that's from 6 to 8, perhaps. 9 and 10, if you have questions, you could shoot it at me in the next session. I would be happy to answer. But we are going to be addressing the middle stage.
Middle stage, yes. Yeah. That's for classes 6 to 8.
Yeah. Yes. Not the second stage. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much to all the teachers and to all of you here. In fact, we did have attendees from as far as, let's say, Ecuador and also Egypt, who were thanking you for this wonderful session. They were also congratulating you on this session and for the inputs. To all the teachers, thank you so much. And we've shared the feedback link both on Zoom as well as Facebook. So we'll be sharing it again on Facebook in the chat box for your access. And to all the teachers, whosoever is looking for the certificates, with the link this morning, we have sent you a certificate link, which will be operational from 7 p.m. So thank you so much, and wish you all a safe evening and also a safe time ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And thank you so much, Ruchi ma'am. It was
pleasure.